Adolescence, this topic is very interesting because it is belong from you student. This is the age stage or period between the 10 to 19 years of age. The period of beginning with the appearances of secondary sexual character. This is also said to be the transitional stage of physical and the mental development of child, and the individual is no longer a child but not yet an adult. Let us see about how exactly those particular changes are there. Appearances of secondary sexual character in the male as well as female. We are well known about those secondary sexual character, how exactly get developed. In boys, the muscle develops, the skin becomes oily, and the cracking of the voice, development of the underarm and the chest hair, the pubic hair, the enlargement structure of our sex organ, the testes, the widening of the hips. Okay, then especially in the female, the same characters are developed. The female sex organ also get developed. We are well known about it. So basically, this puberty change we call it as a adolescence. Okay. So let us see about the phase, the development of many front like the sexual and the reproductive maturity, the mental development, adult identity, and the transition from socio-economic and emotional dependent to relative independence. The stage of adolescence, we can just say about the 10 to 19 years age. So teenager age we call, puberty age we can also call. The government of India in its national youth policy defines the adolescence, the age which is said to be teenager age 13 to 19 years. Then it has the three different stage, the early stage, middle stage and the late stage. Early stage, that period which is get started from the years 10 to 14 years. In this particular age group, what exactly happens? The changes include the beginning of the appearances of secondary sexual characters, the growth reaches to its peak, rapid physical growth, concrete thinking, defining boundaries of the dependence, self exploration, developing the body image, developing of intense friendship, seeking to the counter instability and the evaluation. This is what the early stage. The next middle period, the age which is belong from the 15 to 17. In this age, the characterized by the almost complete full development of the secondary sexual characters. Then growth slow down. Then approximately 95% of the adult stature is attained. Thinking is more abstract, concrete thinking under the stressful condition, re-establishing the body image, then capable long range of thinking, sense of leadership and the all powerfulness, ability of testing to attract the opposite sex, we call it as the attraction between the opposite sex. The peer group help to the defining behavior code, etc. The late stage, this particular age belong from the 18 to 19 years. Basically in this particular age, the physical maturity takes place, establish the abstract thinking, intellectual and the functional identity. Then the individual with relationship, stable relationship, change from the childhood to adulthood relationship, and then finally our physical as well as mental almost development takes place. We become as a adult person after that. The physical change of the adolescence, the growth spurt occurs in both boys and girls. The boys' muscles develop, skin becomes oily, then broadening of the shoulder, cracking of the voice. The development of the underarm and the chest hairs, the pubic hairs, then the facial hairs, enlargement of the penis, testes. In the girls, development of the breast, the widening of the hip and the development of the underarm and the pubic hairs, enlargement of the uterus and the ovaries. The secondary development, in that particular case, secondary sexual characters The sex organs mature and enlarge. Then sexual desire, erection of the penis in the boys, sperm production, ejaculation, ovulation, menstruation, and the initiation of this sexual behavior, the emotional and the social change among them, own identity, establishing the own identity, the fantasy, daydreaming, their attaining seeking behavior, emotional instability, full of energy, second sexual attraction, rapid mood change, then the self exploration and the evaluation, and then the formation of the new relationship, etc. Those are involved. Mental health and the adolescence, many of the emotional and the social changes have implication on their mental health, but the most of the mental health issues that the people confront as an adult begins to appear in the adolescence. The mental health implications include their confusion, then irritation, then moodiness, frustration, less concentration, then anger, then the lifestyle like the obesity, addiction, accident, leading in all the health, etc. The mental illness in fact it terms to be having different form depressions like the insomnia, loss of energy. Thus the mental illness is associated with the physiological and the behavior manifestation. These are the broadly classified in either the psychosis or the neurosis. The psychosis include their delusion, hallucination, disturbance in the thinking process, etc. This psychosis leads to the Alzheimer's disease, the depression psychosis, etc. Then amnesia, loss of memory, we call short-term memory loss like that. Then extreme over the indulgence of the in the food. And then the anxiety, fear, or apprehension, anorexia, then emotional oversation, food, etc. Then the neuroses include their illusions and then hallucination, etc. Adolescence is thus characterized by a number of the cognitive and the emotional behavior, physical and the attitudinal changes which may lead to the positive personality development depending upon their relationship with the parents or the other conditions to complex their other side. Basically this is the age where exactly the we learn a lot of things, but sometimes very bad habit may takes place in this particular age. This leads to the various kind like the addiction, like the smoking, taking drug, etc. The treatment such as a disorder should be having non-pharmacological approach with due to the respect to the right of the children. WHO has recommended evidence based on their guidelines under the mental health cap action program, etc. The addiction in this age, the number of the people they are suffering from the addiction like the alcohol, then different drugs, opoids, then cocaine, nicotine, gambling, etc. And it is very harmful for the health as health. The scientific evidence that addictive behavior share key neurobiological features. Basically, the addiction is a brain disease. The addiction overall result in the impairment of the physiological and the functions of the body. The different causes are given like the insufficient parental supervision, monitoring, lack of communication between the child and parents, then poorly defined rules, family complex, Then the favorable parental attitude toward the alcohol and the drug uses, expectation from the drugs use, risk taking behavior, etc. The methods and measure to the control the drugs abuse, like the always remember, prevention is a better than cure. Avoid the undue pressure. The child should not be forced to perform beyond his her capacity to study. Support them at this particular time, because parents are expecting more and more. Under the pressure they are studying, and finally the result may not get as well. The education and counseling of the child to face the problem of the stress, and they accept their disappointment and their failure as a part of life. Channelize the energy of the child to support them to participate in the sports, studies, and other constructive activities, so that they will get busy as more as possible, like the lifestyle, then the stress, exercise, healthcare, sleep. So these are the certain the given as an example. Drug abuse, we are well known different rave parties. These are the actually the different the college student, they are just become as a chain, become as a victim for the just drugs, the different drugs like the opoids, then cannabinoids, alkaloids, cocaines are used, and then finally these kind of the drugs are very harmful for the our health. Among them, types of drugs, opoids. This drug binds to the opoid receptor present in their central nervous system and gastrointestinal tract. The heroines, otherwise called as a smack, chemically diacetylene formyl, is extracted from the latex of the poppy plant. Heroin is a depressant, and they slow down the activity of the body. So if any person which is having the depression condition, then this kind of the drugs they intake. The next one, cannabinoids. This is the interact with the receptor present in the brain. Inhalation and the injections in of this substance affect their cardiovascular system, and these are the obtained from the inflorescence and the part of the cannabis sativa plant. Then marijuana and the hashish, charas, ganja are also other different form of the drugs are obtained from this particular plant. Cocaine, this is the alkaloid obtained from the coca plant. It increases the level of the neurotransmitter. It excessive doses causes their extreme happiness, and then irritability and the paranoia. So different types of the side effects are also there, and the these are the rave parties or other the different parties where exactly the number of the young people get attracted to just addict the drugs. The next drug, which is said to be a mind expanding drug, that is hallucinogens. These are the alkaloids causing their dry daydreaming. Then that is lysergic acid, cannabis are the hallucinogenic substance, and these are the obtained from the different plants like the atropa, belladonna, then the datura species as well. These are the unreal perceptions of the unreal object, and due to the disorder of the nervous system. In the picture it is given the both plant where exactly these drugs are extracted. Some drugs are very prescribed as medicines. The drugs like the that is barbiturates, and then the amphetamine, then benzodiazepines, and then the lysergic acid, then diethylamine, it is said to be LSD, derived from the plant like the cannabis sativa. Those are used in the medical science to help the patient contracting from the that is insomnia and the depression. Addiction, the in the adolescence age, the young people age, the number of the people get addicted with these drugs. They have a different the effects such as the euphoria, temporary feeling of the well-being associated with the drugs and alcohol. With repeated use of the drugs, and the tolerance level of the receptor present in our body increases. So basically, the different types of the other the the tendency of the people to manifest their characteristics, withdrawal their syndrome. Effects of the drug addiction and the abuse. The immediate observe the effects of the drugs and alcohol abuse are they manifested in the form of the reckless behavior, then the vandalism, then violence, etc. Excessive doses of the drug may lead to the coma and the death due to the respiratory failure, the heart failure, and the cerebral hemorrhage. The combination of the drugs or their intake along with the alcohol generally result in the overdose and the even a death as well. So these are the certain the given warning sign of the drugs and the alcohol. Among them, the drop in the academic performance, then unexplained absence of the school and college, lack of interest in the personal hygiene, then withdrawal, then isolation, depression, fatigue, and then aggressive and the rebellious behavior, loss of their interest in their hobbies, change in their sleeping and the eating habit, then fluctuation in the weight and appetite, etc. For reaching their implication of the drugs, among them the theft, mental and the financial distress, family, friend. Those who take the drugs intensely are like to get the HIV and the hepatitis B. The use of alcohol during the adolescence may also have the long-term effect like the lost balance, then the liver, cirrhosis, pancreatitis. It could lead to the heavy drinking in the childhood. We have to take a lot of precaution in this age. The chronic use of the drug and the alcohol, the damage their nervous system, liver. The use of the drugs and the alcohol during the pregnancy adversely affects to the growing fetus as well. Misuse of the drugs and in their sports. Number of the athletic people, they are just take it as a for enhancing their performance. They misuse their narcotic, then anabolic steroids, and then the diuretics and the certain hormones to increase their muscle strength and their bulk, to promote their aggressiveness and overall to improvement with their performance. So that is why whichever kind of the athletic person, any big competition sports like the Olympic, among them doping test which is done, narco test which is done for those people. Then if suppose any person which is found having the extra dose of the or the that person which is have taken their different drugs, then finally that person which is just banned for a few years, maybe sometime lifetime ban is also done. Let us say about the side effects of the different anabolic steroids, male, female. Then let's say about the male, acne, and then they increase their aggressiveness, mood swing, depression, reduction of the size of the testicles, and then depress their sperm production, then the breast enlargement, premature baldness. These are the certain the side effects are given in the male, female, increase their aggressiveness, mood swings, then depression, abnormal menstrual cycle, excessive hair growth on their face and their body, enlargement of the clitoris, then depending on the deepening of the voice, etc. Prevention in the controls. In this picture it is given prevention is better than cure. So when it comes to the using drug, be smart, don't start. Tell them that treatment is available, we have to take our care. You will never succeed with their drugs. So our health is wealth. Hope for success but not plan for the failure. This life is a precious gift from their elementary. You are the gifted with their normal body and the normal mind. You also get their 3 basic necessities of life. Above all, gifted with the education, and it is your duty to take almost care of this life. Eat healthy, exercise regularly, think and spread positivity, help others, and stay away from their addiction. Thank you.